It's been a very exciting journey, Rick. I think we started in 2018, as you mentioned, and the idea when we started was to kind of to cater to this segment, which is the small businesses, wherein the demand is huge for ticket sizes ranging between 50,000 to 3 lakh rupees. But we didn't see any formal player kind of addressing this demand, either a bank or an NBFC. So we seized on this opportunity and we said that this is a segment which is coming up, the MFI segment, which is the microfinance institution segment, wherein they have had one or two or three cycles of loans, and now they are in need of a higher ticket size, 1 lakh rupees, 1.5 lakh rupees. And that's how we started this journey in 2018. We formed a company called Moneybox Capital Limited. And then through that company, we acquired a listed entity in the BSE SME exchange called Dhanuka Commercial. And then we went through the process of acquiring the shares and then renaming and taking over the management, which took us around 6 to 8 months. And by that time, we started building our teams, identifying locations, the products, the IT infrastructure, and everything else. Then we started our first branch in Bharatpur, Rajasthan in 2019, February 10th. So that was our first location. And all throughout 2019, we have kind of expanded from one branch to 11 branches by December, and in 4 states. So we have 5 branches in Rajasthan. We had 1 branch in Punjab, which is Bhatinda. We had 2 in Haryana and 3 in MP. So that's how we expanded. By end of 2019, we had 11 branches. For the financial year 2019 and 20, we roughly lent around 34 crores of disbursement. So the AUM was around 34 crores. And 2021, as you know that the pandemic struck us at the start of the financial year. So we also stopped disbursing fresh loans in the month of April, May, and June, because our focus was fully on collection. We wanted to make sure that whatever loans we have lent, the collection is very strong. And I'm very happy to kind of say that all throughout our lockdown period, our collection was more than 90%. And whereas if you look at an industry average, the industry average was MFI was around 10-20%, and other NBFCs were around 30-40%. Then when we were very confident of our portfolio and our underwriting, we started expanding again, starting disbursing again in the month of July. And in July, September, and October, we have already lent more than 10 crores fresh disbursements, and we have already opened 6 branches, fresh new branches in the states of Rajasthan, Haryana, and Punjab. We are yet to open 5 more branches. The plans are already on. We'll open between now and December 10th. The next 5 branches are going to come up. So roughly we'll double our loan book in this financial year. End of this fiscal year, we will be roughly around sitting on a loan book for around 80-85 crores. So that's the target. Roughly around 6,000 customers. As of today, we have a loan book of around 48 crores. It's a bit of both. So we identified the segments that we wanted to be, and livestock was one of the segments. And we always knew that livestock has performed relatively well. The segment has performed relatively well in the MFI and other spaces. Also, when we looked at the historical data, even after the demonetization space. So this was always a focus area. But yes, I think the conviction has gone even more now after the pandemic, because this is one segment where we see a very good repayment history from the borrowers. The track record that we see is one of the best in the dairy segment. And as we were discussing earlier, there are a couple of reasons for that. This is one of the essential commodities, and even during the peak of lockdown, people were consuming milk. So yes, the demand went up a little bit here and there, but overall there was no real decline in the consumption of milk. And because of that, the cash flows of these people who are rearing these livestock did not get impacted much. And that is how we were able to recover our EMIs. So the conviction definitely has gone up, after the lockdown. But this was one of the focus areas that we always had in our mind, that this is an underserved segment, and we would want to lend to this segment. Portfolio consists of dairy, which is one of the largest segment. After that, we have trading, which is contributing around 20 to 25% of our portfolio. Trading, these are all local shop owners, small shop owners. Kirana is around 10%, and the rest is consisting of manufacturing and services. The government has been focusing a lot on the agriculture sector, and the big bang reforms that it has announced in the agricultural sector is definitely going up to open up much more opportunities. So for example, the focus was more on the dairy. Now the allied activities, when we see that there is a consistent flow of income in those segments, the main problem with the agriculture sector is it's very cyclical, because that is the nature of the sector, and that puts us in a dilemma in terms of assessing the total income and assessing the true cash flows of the borrower. But yes, if the focus is going to be more on the agriculture sector and making sure that the income levels increase, and they increase on a consistent basis, there are allied activities that we might be interested into. So it's early days, but I'm sure that a lot of opportunities will open up in the allied activities related to agriculture other than the dairy segment. And we would be more than, because of the fact that we are already tuned in into this segment. So it will be easier for us to assess the other activities that we want to enter into, or the segments that we want to enter into. We are also educating them in terms of how to maintain. So because based on the knowledge that we have aggregated over the last 2 years, so if there is a new person who is going to buy cattle, so we kind of have a local expertise in terms of making sure that they are buying the right amount, right kind of cattle, the right at the right price. And we also educating them in terms of the financial implications of transacting through the banking channels. So that is very important, the financial inclusions thing, because as of today everything that they produce is sold in cash, and all the expenses, and so a very small portion of their total transactions that they do is through banking channels. So we are making sure that they do a lot of transactions through banking channels, so that they build a credit history. So tomorrow, if they have to kind of avail a higher credit, so there is a credit history which is established, and they are able to kind of tap into that financial space, whether it is credit, whether it is insurance products or any other investment products. So these are some of the things that we kind of educate them on an ongoing basis.